What's up, everyone? If you didn't see part 1 and 2 of this video sermon yet, go check it out and then come back and keep listening to this. In a cultural climate of people hating who is different is where we get the story of the Ethiopian eunuch in Acts chapter 8, verses 26 to 40, and you can read it there. We don't even get his name. He's just called the Ethiopian eunuch, but just from that description, we learn a whole bunch of stuff about him. The Ethiopian eunuch is a foreigner, so he's not from Samaria or Jerusalem. He's African, so he's from Ethiopia. It says he was the minister of finance for the queen of Ethiopia, so that means he's rich, and it means he belongs to a royal court. We know that he can read because it says he was reading the prophet Isaiah's writings, and most people in those days didn't know how to read, only some did, so he's educated. And he must be a person of faith to come all the way from Ethiopia to Jerusalem and make that pilgrimage to learn about God. That's quite a journey. And he is a eunuch. Well, what is a eunuch anyways? Well, a eunuch in this time are typically people that were castrated before puberty, which means they had their testicles removed. Lots of us just say balls. Sometimes that happened with their consent, but usually not. And as a result, they didn't experience puberty. They retained higher voices. They didn't develop body hair or facial hair like many men do. They looked and sounded different from the men and women around them. They were also mostly single and childless. And in a world where everyone seemed to be part of a family unit of some sort, they stood out as loners. So God actually guides Philip to go meet the Ethiopian eunuch on the road as this guy's riding in his chariot reading the book of the Bible written by Isaiah. Philip asks him if he understands what he's reading, and he says, "How can I understand without some help?" Well, wait a minute, wasn't he just in Jerusalem at the temple? Why didn't he just have a priest or leader there explain the text to him? Well, that probably wouldn't have happened because since he was foreign to Jerusalem, as an Ethiopian, he wouldn't have been allowed in the inner temple court, which is where the teachings would have been heard. Also, because he was a eunuch, he wouldn't have been let in because the book of the law in Deuteronomy, it says, it's written there in chapter 23, no man whose testicles are crushed or whose penis is cut off can belong to the Lord's assembly. That sucks in more ways than one. So even though he had a high respect for the Jewish faith, and he would have been left on the outskirts and not allowed to participate in the religious practices. So imagine being this guy, standing at the temple in Jerusalem, and there's crowds of people, tons of courtyards and fountains and just a buzz of activity. And it's a highly gendered space too. So men and young men are on one side, and then women and children are on the other side. And there's areas designated for foreigners and for Gentiles, and everyone is in their place. But where do you fit in? Where do you belong? Where are the places you feel you don't belong or fit in? Talk about that with your family and friends today, and tune in tomorrow for part 4. I just want to encourage you to hit all the like buttons on this video. It helps us to know that you're watching. As well, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow our Facebook page and our Instagram, and do ask how you can be included in one of our tiny village churches.